There is always something happening around the globe. We are here today to get you updated about events and programs from around the globe. A very good evening and warm welcome to Dhamma Television Collective News. This is Srishti Khadki. Let's move on to today's headlines. Naranghat Mugleen Road section blocked again. Demonstration at Maithigar demanding reappointment of Kulman Gising. Flyover in 5 more places. Discussions begin to draft an ordinance against acid-borne heinous crimes. Dr. Yuvraj Khattiwada appointed Special Economic Advisor to Prime Minister. Hotels to operate from Assos 1st. Tourism activities on Kartik 1st. No decision on educational institutions. More than 2 million deaths from corona infection in the United States. General Secretary of Nepali Congress Dr. Shashank Koirala hospitalized. Corona confirmed 1,459 more on Tuesday, 11 more dead. Earthquake shakes Kathmandu. Historic agreement between UAE and Bahrain. Schools reopen in Italy after 7 months. Member of Bahraini royal family in Nepal today for expedition. Support of Remdesivir by India. Here we go for news in detail. Naranghat Mugleen Road has been blocked due to mudslides. According to the police, road was blocked at Ichakamana Gaonpalika 6 4 kilo of Chitwan due to continuous rain. According to Police Inspector Kanchan Tamang of Ada Police Mugleen, road has been blocked since 6 this morning. According to Tamang, there was a problem in removing mud due to rain. Tamang said that traffic would be made easier by removing mud after rain stopped. Road has been blocked several times due to continuous rains. Retired Executive Director of Nepal Electricity Authority Kulman Gising has formally resigned. Nepal Electricity Authority Employees Union bade farewell to Gising on Tuesday. Speaking at the farewell function, Gising indicated that there could be various challenges before NEA in coming days, stating that the first challenge would be to institutionalize the achievements of NEA. Gising said that there could be a challenge including proper management of electricity generated, stating that NEA has been earning profit continuously since the first fiscal year of its tenure. Gising said that NEA's profit is estimated to be more than Rs 11 billion in current fiscal year. Stating that people's trust in NEA has increased, Gising said that load shedding has ended and leakage has come down to 15.27%. Executive Director Gising mentioned that 35% of electricity was imported from India 4 years ago and now it has become self-sufficient from next year. Stating that main reason is not only to end load shedding by importing electricity, Gising argued that NEA has also worked with India on the issue. Gising said that NEA has made a significant leap and 457 megawatt projects have come into operation during its tenure. Gising was appointed by government as the Executive Director of Nepal Electricity Authority for 4 years on September 13, 2008. There has been a huge protest in Maithigar demanding the reappointment of Kulman Gising as Managing Director of Nepal Electricity Authority. A gaggle of youth bearing the national flag shouted slogans in opposition to the federal government, asking for Kulman's reappointment. Protesters in a rally were removed with water fountain by police force.
Measurable क्वान्टिफाई गर्न सक्ने जुन मेरो एग्रिमेन्टमा भएको बेसिसमा गरेको मूल्याङ्कनको आधारमा हरेक वर्ष मैले करिब 86 भन्दा माथि नै 80 भन्दा माथिलाई डिस्टिङसनै भन्छ डिस्टिङसनै उपलब्ध प्राप्त गरेको छु। मैले जिम्मेवारी सम्हाल्दा लोड शेडिङको अन्धकारले मुलुक आक्रान्त थियो। वर्षातको समयमा समेत 6 देखि 8 घण्टाको लोड शेडिङ बेहोरिरहनु परेको र हिउँदमा समेत दैनिक 14 घण्टासम्म लोड शेडिङ गर्नुपर्ने प्रक्षेपण थियो। प्राधिकरणको वित्तीय अवस्था अत्यन्त नाजुक थियो। प्राधिकरणको आर्थिक वर्ष 72-73 सम्ममा सञ्चित घाटा रु 34 अरब 61 करोड पुगेको थियो भने सोही वर्ष 8 अरब 89 करोड खुद नोक्सानी थियो। एकातर्फ कहाली लाग्दो अँध्यारोले मुलुक आक्रान्त थियो भने अर्कोतर्फ प्राधिकरणको घाटाको ग्राफ बढ्दो क्रममा थियो। प्रणालीमा वार्षिक विद्युत चुहावट 25.78% थियो। करिब 63% जनता मात्रै ग्रिडको विद्युत पहुँचमा थिए। सरकारले मलाई दिएको मुख्य जिम्मेवारी पनि लोड शेडिङको अन्त्य गरी अँध्यारो युगलाई उज्यालो बनाउने र प्राधिकरणको सुधार गर्ने नै थियो। वर्षभरिमा सबैभन्दा बढी विद्युत माग हुने तिहारको लक्ष्मी पूजाका दिन कुशल व्यवस्थापन एवं प्रभावकारी प्रणाली सञ्चालन मार्फत परीक्षणको रूपमा मुलुकभरि निरन्तर विद्युत आपूर्ति गर्न सफल भयौँ। 2073 को लक्ष्मी पूजाको दिन लोडसेडिङ अन्त्य गरी मुलुकलाई उज्यालो बनाउने प्रस्थान बिन्दु थियो। लक्ष्मी पूजाको दिन हासिल भएको सफलताले हामीलाई थप हौसला प्रदान गर्यो। त्यसपछि पहिलो चरणमा राजधानीसहित मुलुकका प्रमुख सहरहरूमा लोडसेडिङ अन्त्य गर्नतर्फ हामी केन्द्रित भयौँ। अन्ततः मुलुकलाई उज्यालोतर्फ अगाडि बढाउन सफल भयौँ। वैशाख 2075 देखि औद्योगिक ग्राहकको लागि पनि लोडसेडिङ अन्त्य गरी मुलुकबाट लोडसेडिङलाई इतिहासमा विलय गराइदिएका छौँ। सम्माननीय प्रधानमन्त्री, माननीय ऊर्जा मन्त्री, ऊर्जा सचिव, प्राधिकरण सञ्चालक समितिका सदस्यज्यूहरू, राजनीतिक तथा प्रशासनिक नेतृत्व, कर्मचारी र आम उपभोक्ताको साथ र सहयोगमा नै सम्झँदै कहाली लाग्दो त्यो अँध्यारो युगलाई इतिहास बनाउँदै उज्यालो युग सुरुवात गर्न सफल भएका छौँ। विद्युत माग र आपूर्ति बीचको सन्तुलित वैज्ञानिक व्यवस्थापन र इमान्दार प्रयासबाट मुलुकलाई लोडसेडिङ मुक्त बनाउन सफल भयौँ। तर लोडसेडिङ अन्त्य गर्नु मात्र हाम्रो अन्तिम अभिष्ट थिएन। हाम्रो योजना प्राधिकरणको चौतर्फी सुधार र विभिन्न कारणले जीर्ण बनेका तथा अलपत्र अवस्थामा रहेका उत्पादन, प्रसारण र वितरणतर्फका आयोजना सम्पन्न गर्नु तथा नयाँ सुरु गर्नु थियो। जीर्ण बनेका अधिकांश आयोजनाहरू निरन्तरको प्रयासबाट निर्माण सम्पन्न भएका छन् भने केही सम्पन्न हुने चरणमा पुगेका छन्। हामीले सञ्चालन गरेको उज्यालो नेपाल अभियानबाट जनताले नियमित विद्युत आपूर्ति मात्रै पाएका छैनन्, प्राधिकरणको प्रशासनिक तथा वित्तीय सुधार पनि भएको छ। ऋणात्मक रहेका प्राधिकरणका वित्तीय सूचकाङ्कहरू धनात्मक बनेका छन्। मैले जिम्मेवारी सम्हालेको पहिलो आर्थिक वर्षमा प्राधिकरण 1 अरब 47 करोड खुद नाफा कमाउन सफल भयो। त्यसपछिका वर्षहरूमा नाफाको ग्राफ उकालो लाग्दै गयो। दोस्रो वर्ष 2 अरब 85 करोड, तेस्रो वर्ष 9 अरब 81 करोड र चौथो वर्ष नाफा बढेर 11 अरब 5 करोड रुपैयाँ पुगेको छ। कुनै बेला कर्मचारीलाई तलब खुवाउन पनि सरकारको मुख ताक्नुपर्ने अवस्थामा पुगेको प्राधिकरण सञ्चालनमा रहेका सार्वजनिक संस्थाहरूमध्ये 2 वर्षदेखि सबैभन्दा बढी खुद नाफा कमाउने संस्था बनेर गौरवमय इतिहास बनाउन सफल भएको छ। चालु आर्थिक वर्षको बजेटमा प्राधिकरणको नाफा रु 11 अरबभन्दा बढी रहने प्रक्षेपण गरिएको छ। ऋणात्मक रहेको सञ्चित कोष धनात्मकतर्फ अघि बढिरहेको छ। 4 वर्ष अघि 34 अरब 61 करोड रुपैयाँ सञ्चित नोक्सानी रहेकोमा आर्थिक वर्ष 76-77 प्राधिकरणले सम्पूर्ण सञ्चित नोक्सानीलाई शून्यमा झारी करिब 5 अरब रुपैयाँ नाफामा लैजान सफल भएको छ। कर्मचारीको तलब खुवाउन समेत सरकारको मुख ताक्नुपर्ने अवस्थाबाट गुज्रिरहेको प्राधिकरणले पूर्वाधार विकासका योजना बनाउँदा खुट्टा कमाउनु पर्ने अवस्था थियो। तर अबका दिनमा उत्पादन, प्रसारण र वितरणको लागि आवश्यक बजेट प्राधिकरण आफैले पनि व्यवस्था गर्न सक्ने अवस्थामा पुग्नेछ। विगत 4 वर्षमा हामीले गरेका प्रयासले प्राधिकरणको गरिमालाई उच्च बनाएको छ। आगामी दिनमा यसको गरिमा अझ उच्च हुँदै जाओस्। मेरो सधैँ नै साथ, सहयोग र समर्थन रहिरहनेछ। नेतृत्वको निरन्तरता वा परिवर्तन नियमित एवं स्वाभाविक प्रक्रिया हो। यसलाई हामी सबैले आत्मसात गर्नुपर्छ। म यसलाई बुझिदिन सबैलाई अनुरोध गर्दछु। अन्तमा सम्पूर्ण नेपाली जनता मेरो प्रेरणाका स्रोत हुन्। आगामी दिनमा मेरा सम्पूर्ण प्रयासहरू नेपाल र नेपाली जनताको समृद्धिको चाहना पुरा गर्ने तर्फ केन्द्रित रहनेछ। हामीले इम्पोर्टमा पनि सस्तो इम्पोर्ट कसरी गर्ने भनेर फ्लेक्सिबल इम्पोर्ट अहिले चाहिँ बेलुका कति घन्टालाई चाहियो त्यति घन्टा इम्पोर्ट गर्ने, रातभरि नलिने, दिउँसो लिने, चाहेको बेलाको इम्पोर्ट पनि हामीले त्यो सस्तोमा इम्पोर्ट गर्न थाल्यौँ। यो त म्यानेजमेन्टले सोचेर भिजन दिएर गर्ने कुरा हो नि त। त्यो त सम्भव थिएन। त्यो भएको हुनाले यो पनि महत्त्वपूर्ण हो। हामीले लस घटायौँ र यो चाहिँ चुहावट मात्रै होइन, यो खर्च कटौतीको विषयहरू छन्, बजेट नियन्त्रणका विषयहरू छन्। यी तमाम कुराहरू गरेर नै हामीले संस्थाको चाहिँ नाफालाई पनि अगाडि ल्याएका छौँ। यसलाई हामीले संस्थागत गर्नुपर्छ, निरन्तरता दिनुपर्छ। लोड सेडिङ अन्त्य भयो। अब हाम्रो चाहिँ ठुलो चुनौती भनेको व्यवस्थापन, अब यो डिमान्ड स्टिमुलेट कसरी गर्ने, डिमान्डलाई कसरी चाहिँ बढाउने भन्ने नै हो। आगामी दिनमा यो विषयहरूमा अगाडि बढ्ने नै छ।
Flyovers will be constructed at 5 more places in Kathmandu Valley for systematic urbanization and traffic management. According to the Department of Roads, flyovers will be constructed at 5 more places including Kodeshur, Baneshur, Tripreshur and Gausala near under construction tunnel at Nagdunga, Sasnikola. The detailed project report DPR of the flyover to be constructed in Thankot has been prepared and construction agreement has been completed. Director General of Road Department Keshav Kumar Sharma informed that the contract process has been completed with the preparation of 9 DPR of the flyover to be constructed in Thankot out of the 5 proposed. Similarly, a feasibility study is being carried out for the flyover to be constructed in Kodeshur with the assistance of the Japanese government, said Director General Sharma, stating that construction of flyovers at the remaining places would be done with the assistance of the Chinese government. Director General Sharma informed that a memorandum of understanding has been signed with China for feasibility study of flyovers at Baneshur, Tripreshur and Gaushala. Stating that feasibility study will be completed in the current fiscal year, Director General Sharma clarified that construction of these flyovers will be done with the loan assistance of the governments of China and Japan. According to the Department of Roads, selection process is in the final stage after inviting bids for survey and design consultant for the construction of flyover connecting Ekantakuna, Guarco and Sadabatu and Chapagaon Chowk of Koteshwar Kalanki section of the ring road. Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs has started discussions to draft an ordinance against the heinous crime against acid. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has instructed to bring a new law to deal with the acid attack, and Ministry has started discussion with stakeholders to draft the law. Earlier, Prime Minister Oli had directed to prepare a draft law within 15 days to take action against the culprits. Talking to stakeholders for lawmaking at Ministry on Tuesday, Law Minister Dr. Shivamaya Tumha Humphrey said that law would be made as soon as possible from the ordinance. Stating that lawmaking process is in full swing, Tumha Humphrey informed that issue of inclusion in the Act Against Heinous Acid-related Crimes has been discussed. Minister Tumha Humphrey said that law needs to be formulated in such a way that justice is done to the victims. At the program, government officials said that a strict law should be enacted. During the discussion, women's rights activist Dr. Renu Adhikari said that the issue of paying compensation to the victims from PIDAC should be mentioned in law. Similarly, Sabin Shrestha, Director of Women Law and Development Forum, suggested that acid attackers should be sentenced to death in Nepal even though they were sentenced to death in other countries. Other human rights activists who participated in the discussion said that such incidents would be reduced if the law against acid-related heinous crimes was strengthened. Preparations have been made to make legal arrangements to compensate the victims by seizing the property of the perpetrators of incidents that have multiple effects including physical, mental and social health. Former Finance Minister Dr. Yuvraj Khattiwada has been appointed Economic Advisor to Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. According to government spokesperson and Ministry for Foreign Affairs Pradeep Gewali, Khattiwada has been appointed as the economic advisor to the Prime Minister. Gewali informed that Khattiwada has been appointed as a special economic advisor to the Prime Minister at a press conference organized to announce the decision of the cabinet meeting on Tuesday. It has been decided to appoint Yuvraj Khattiwada as special economic advisor to the Prime Minister at the ministerial level, said government spokesperson Gewali. Dr. Khattiwada resigned from the post of minister a few days ago. Khattiwada, who was nominated to the National Assembly for 2 years, became a minister for 6 months as a non-MP. Khatiwada resigned as a minister after the government decided to nominate Bamdit Gautam, vice chairman of the ruling Communist Party of Nepal, for a vacant seat in the National Assembly. The government has decided to allow the hotel business to operate from Assoc first after fulfilling the health standards. Government spokesperson and Minister for Foreign Affairs Pradeep Gewali said that the hotel, restaurant, hiking and travel business can be run by fulfilling the health standards set by the Ministry of Health and Population. The Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation will monitor their non-compliance with health and safety measures. Similarly, permission has been granted to bring technical manpower from abroad in various development projects in Nepal. For that, it has been made mandatory for such manpower to present a report showing PCR negative within 72 hours. It has also been decided to continue teaching and learning through distance and alternative education in case it is not possible to conduct classes with the presence of students in such schools. The government has decided to continue to close more crowded areas such as educational institutions, exam centers, seminars, cinema halls, dance bars, salons, swimming pools, group games, religious and social venues, libraries, museums and museums and zoos, said government spokesperson Gewali. These areas will be open only after another decision is made. It has been decided to allow tourists coming to Nepal for mountaineering and trekking purposes from Kartik 1st. For that, a PCR negative report 70 hours in advance has been made mandatory. As many as 219 people have died in the United States as of Wednesday morning due to the corona epidemic. So far, more than 4,061,873 have been cured in the United States. As of Tuesday evening, the United States has tested the corona of 93.68 million people, the second most tested in the United States after China. The number of corona cases worldwide has reached 297,014,491. So far, more than 938,385 people have died from corona infection in the United States. General Secretary of Nepali Congress Dr. Shashank Koirala has been admitted to hospital. Koirala, who has been living in isolation at home for a few days after being infected with the coronavirus, was admitted to the hospital with a sudden fever. Koirala was admitted to Om Hospital with high fever, according to his private secretariat. Despite the low fever, doctors suspect he has pneumonia. The director of the Home Hospital, senior consultant physician Dr. Koirala's treatment. A medical team led by Vishwanath Koirala is involved. The hospital has stated that Koirala's health is gradually improving. Corona has been confirmed in 1,459 people, including 446 women and 1,013 men during the tests conducted in different parts of the country. Similarly, corona was confirmed in 676 more people in the Kathmandu Valley on Tuesday. According to Ministry of Health, 555 people, including 169 women and 386 men, have been found infected in Kathmandu. 86 in Bhaktapur with 37 women and 49 men, and 35 in Lalitpur with 16 women and 19 men. Along with this, the number of corona-infected people in Nepal has reached 56,788. 11 more people have died due to corona and death toll has reached 371 so far. Currently, the number of active infection is 15,779. Similarly, 1,062 people have been discharged on Tuesday, while 40,638 have been discharged so far, said Health Ministry spokesperson Dr. Jageshwar Gautam. There are currently 7,250 people in quarantine. Similarly, there are 7,640 people in home isolation and 8,139 people in institutional isolation. So far, 8,61,780 PCR has been stated. Earthquake shakes Kathmandu with epicenter reported near Ramche in Sindhapalchak district on Wednesday morning. According to National Earthquake Measurement Center, Department of Mines and Geology, magnitude 6.0 earthquake struck at 5:19 this morning. This is not a new earthquake but the aftershock of the earthquake that struck Barpak in Gorkha in 2072 BS. Epicenter was reported below the capital, Kathmandu. The quake affected the valley and surrounding districts. In all three districts of the valley, large number of people rushed out their homes in panic. According to the center, there have been more than 550 aftershocks over 4 Richter scale since the Gorkha earthquake of 2072 BS. US President Donald Trump has hailed Israel's landmark agreement with the UAE and Bahrain as the dawn of a new Middle East. The two Gulf states have signed an agreement to normalize Israeli relations. All three countries consider the agreement a historic agreement. Since its founding in 1940, the UAE and Bahrain have been the third and fourth Arab nations to recognize Israel. Welcoming the event at the White House on Tuesday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, "We have seen the dawn of a Middle East history." Leader Mahmoud Abbas responded that peace in the Middle East could only come after Israel withdrew from the occupied territories. 2 rockets were fired at Israel from the Gaza Strip during the signing ceremony. Many countries have been affected by the global epidemic of coronavirus. Similarly, schools in Italy, the country most affected by the coronavirus, have resumed operations on Monday after 7 months. The Italian government imposed a 2-month lockdown after coronavirus spread in an uncontrolled manner. The lockdown affected nearly 8 million children in Italy. Some children in Italy have become homeless because of coronavirus. Cecilia Cuguni, the principal of the local school, said that it was an important step to restore the school to its former condition. Prince Sheikh Nasir bin Hamad of Bahrain Al Khalifa arrived in Nepal with an expedition team from the Royal Guard to climb Mount Manaslu, the world's 8th highest peak. A team of 18 climbers from the Kingdom of Bahrain, including a member of the royal family, has arrived in Nepal today for an expedition of Mount Lobuchi and Mount Manaslu. The expedition, which was coordinated in Bahrain by Prince Sheikh Nasir bin Hamad Al Khalifa, will be led by Prince Muhammad Hamad Muhammad Al Khalifa. The team, comprising 3 British nationals, reached Nepal on a special flight from Sikh Isha Air Base. The team will be staying in Nepal for 2 months and has planned an expedition to Mount Lobuchi and Mount Manaslu as a prelude to climbing the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, in 2021. The cabinet meeting held on August 30 had decided to allow the team to come to Nepal for the expedition. Nepali trekking agency 7 Summit Treks will be managing the high-profile military expedition in the autumn season. Starting from today, the expedition team will be staying in quarantine for 6 days. Government of India has provided Government of Nepal with the remdesivir required for the treatment of critically ill COVID-19 patients. On Tuesday, Indian ambassador to Nepal, Binay Mohan Quatra, handed over 2,000 remedies to Foreign Minister Pradeep Kumar Gyawali on behalf of Government of India. Minister Gyawali said that receiving assistance at a time when India itself was affected by the epidemic was a symbol of reliable friendship between 2 countries. Gyawali appreciated continuous support received from India for socio-economic development of Nepal. Expressing commitment, Government of India would extend all possible assistance in the fight against COVID-19 to the best of its ability. Gyawali said, adding that health supplies had been provided to Nepal even though it was more in line with its policy of neighborhood first. According to medical experts, remdesivirs are used in the treatment of those infected with oxygen therapy. This is all for now. We'll be back with more news and updates. Till then, keep watching them on television. May all the sentient beings be at peace. Stay safe.